$1 million.
$2 million.
You don't have it. $3 million.
I'll borrow it from you. $4 million.
$5 million.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. $6 million.
$7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
You two boys aren't gonna start fighting over little old me now, are you?
So, is Robin trying to outbid Batman with Bruce Wayne's money? Like, whose money is he using here? And did they just out themselves as millionaires or billionaires? Like, they're supposed to be at this party as Batman and Robin. What money are they using?
Do you think that the city of Gotham assumes that Batman gets paid for his work?
He might. What's his rate?
Do they think Batman is rich? I mean, he's got those vehicles, so like you have to assume there's a certain level of money involved, right?
It's true. And where does he get that card from? Like, did Visa give that to him? Like, did he apply for it? What's his credit rating?
Does Visa know that Batman is Bruce Wayne? Because I don't think Batman has a social security number.
Somehow he's paying these bills, unless it's just a complete like farce and he's just flexing on Robin there with some fake card.
But anyways, with Robin bidding for Poison Ivy with Batman's money, maybe that's Bruce Wayne's plan all along. It's just to get Robin in debt. get Dick Grayson in debt, so they'll be forever indebted. Literally.
Unless he's like, surprise, I won. It was my money all along. Welcome back. This is episode 84 of the Last Row podcast. We said we would never do this movie, but never say never. Here we are. If you're looking for our website, thelastrowpodcast.com, follow us on Twitter at The Last Row Pod, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Also, check out Podchaser. Leave us a review there. Welcome back, Badway. We said we wouldn't do it, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't think that Dick Grayson understands interest rates, and I think Bruce has him over a barrel right now.
He's like Ray Stantz, and Egon's there calculating the rates from selling his parents' house.
Yep.
Yeah, we got like such an overwhelming response from the Batman Forever episode that I guess we got to do it. Complete the quadrilogy, even though we didn't really do the first two. So
that he owns the Grayson estate.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just like a tent?
Yeah, it's a must be.
Do they have a home?
It's a PO box. That's what he's got. He's just got a PO box. That's how I guess
it would be a trailer more than anything else, because like they're traveling all the time. Like I just imagine like their home is like a tent on like Fifth Street.
They're traveling.
Imagine like row house, tent, row house. That's the Graysons.
The traveling Graysons.
Anyway, Batman and Robin. You know, Drew, they say that this movie is a career killer. I don't know how true it is.
Did we curse ourselves here?
So it could kill our career too, because it's late, the movie's not good, and we've done little to prepare.
We usually joke about it being like 2 a.m., but it is literally about 2 a.m.
Literally about 2 a.m. Episode 84, Batman and Robin. 1997, directed by Joel Schumacher. Mecker. Is it Mocker or Maker?
I think it's Mocker, but
if
don't
I
mock
called him
him.
Shoemaker, do you think he'd be, if he were alive today?
R.I.P.
Yeah.
He would be upset, I think.
Yeah, you got to get it right. Action/adventure/ superhero fantasy movie. IMDb 3.8 out of 10.
Too high.
Rotten Tomato 12%.
Too high.
Too high. Metacritic 28%.
Too high.
It's about right. I mean, the fans love it. The fans love it.
It's pretty. It's I don't know.
I might have a surprising take. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Hashtag. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
This superhero adventure finds Batman and his partner in life, Robin, attempting to foil the sinister schemes of a deranged set of new villains, most notably the melancholy Mr. Freeze.
Was he emo?
Yeah, emo Freeze, who wants to take Gotham into an Arctic region, and the sultry Poison Ivy, a plant-loving femme fatale. As the dynamic duo contends with these bad guys, a third hero, Batgirl, joins the ranks of the city's crime fighters. Rated R.
Yeah. I don't know that they really needed Batgirl in this movie, but I have some thoughts on that too. But overall, it's okay. I have a synopsis here.
I feel like the whole movie was full of why the hell not.
Yeah, why not? Let's put this in.
Why the
here.
hell not?
You know what?
Sure.
Guys on ice skates that are actually rollerblades? Yeah, why the hell not?
Why, you want to play hockey with a diamond? Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
Do it have a racially insensitive party thrown by Batman and Robin, not Bruce Wayne? Sure, what the hell, why not?
Bruce Wayne's friend Batman throwing this party so they could catch Mr. Freeze, but Bruce Wayne's nowhere to be found. Yeah, why not?
Sure, what the hell, why not? Why not? Let's go for it.
These taglines, I'm just gonna spoil it for you here. They're pretty awful. So let's just
really?
go through here.
Really?
So first one, strength now, courage always, family above all, Batman and Robin.
See, I feel that should be Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Strength now, courage always, Batman Forever.
Yeah. See, but they had to add.
Have me write the lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here you go. Heroes, villains, triple threat.
There's two things.
It doesn't.
Where's the third thing?
I guess like three villains, maybe.
Does it mean that there's three
heroes and three villains? But Bane
Next.
isn't. Yeah, next.
Next.
Here you go. Strength, courage, honor, and loyalty. On June 20th, it all comes together.
It's too late, Drew. It's too late. It's too late for this bullshit.
Financials. I'm not even going to waste any more minutes on that. Financials. $160 million estimated budget. Worldwide
low.
Gross, right? Worldwide gross. $238.2 million. What a flop.
It worked.
It worked and it was popular, but it was still considered a flop.
I mean, it made what? I can't do math at this hour. 70 million? It made 70 million.
Well, but think about it,
Profit.
right? Like, so this is now like if you make a superhero movie these days and it doesn't
Yeah.
make $1 billion, you're a failure.
Yeah, but like imagine if like nobody saw it.
This is 1997. Did you see it? Did you see it in the theater?
Of course I did.
I saw it in the theater.
I was in 7th grade.
I was so excited to see
what
it.
the hell is a 7th grader? 13?
It's probably
13?
something like that, right?
Yeah, sure.
I definitely I have thoughts on this about the first time I saw it. We'll talk about the legacy in a minute. Hashtag we'll get to that later. But we introduced sort of a new segment last time. I think it makes sense, right?
Are you ready?
Since
You're ready to make this a segment? You ready to commit?
I think we should commit to it at least where it makes sense, especially when there's awards given by your former, place of work, right?
I don't remember being in on the meeting, the last row meeting. Was I absent from that meeting where we made this a thing?
I'll put it in this one, and we'll see if the people like it, if it sticks. But I think there's some potential here to go through some of these awards. And in 1998, this movie, now look, it won a crap ton of Razzies and all this bad awards. We get that. Like, let's not even go there.
But
we
it's
know
a
what
legitimate.
this is.
It's a legitimate award-winning movie.
This is one of the most prestigious awards that you could win. It's a Blockbuster Entertainment Award from 1998.
Yes. Yeah.
See,
I was a presenter. In
were you
98.
presenter? See,
I was
feel
a
like
presenter
you
in
were,
'98. I was.
and I feel like if you presented the favorite sci-fi actress category, you would have presented the winner to Uma Thurman, who beat out Julianne Moore of Jurassic Park: The Lost World fame and Sigourney Weaver of Alien Resurrection fame to win this favorite sci-fi actress from 1998.
That's bold.
Prestigious award, right?
Say the key word here is favorite, not best.
Favorite. It doesn't say best; it said favorite.
favorite.
So the next award that it won was favorite supporting sci-fi actor, Chris O'Donnell, who beat out Arnold for this movie, which is controversial as hell, I'll say.
I got problems with that.
And Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, yeah, he's not better than Arnold. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty.
I don't care that he's young, and I don't know. Probably the Utes were voting on this.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Let me
Arnold
say
was
this.
clearly better than Chris O'Donnell in this movie.
If Arnold put on an acting clinic for how to act like Arnold Schwarzenegger, this movie would be the tape for it. Besides movies like Kindergarten Cop.
I'm not even sure Chris O'Donnell acted in this movie. I think he just was Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, he was
I don't
kind
think
of
there was
Chris
a lot
O'Donnell.
going on there.
There's a couple others here. So it was nominated. So Schwarzenegger was nominated. He lost out. And then sci-fi actress, same thing. Alicia Silverstone was also nominated in the same category as Uma Thurman, and she lost out. But supporting. Sorry, I mixed that up. She lost to Winona Ryder from Alien Resurrection, which I can't fault that. I thought she was pretty good in that.
Alicia Silverstone was terrible in this movie.
She was pretty bad. But you know what?
Terrible.
The kids didn't think so, Badway, because she won a Kids' Choice Award. She won the other most prestigious award.
Nickelodeon Kids' Choice
She
Award.
won a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award for, again, not best, but favorite movie actress, Alicia Silverstone. She got that golden popcorn trophy, man.
If you're familiar with our back catalog, we used to say that we find the silver linings.
Yeah.
The movies that may not have been received. This is it right here. Grasping for straws at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
And so here you go. So this movie was nominated for favorite movie, and I'll tell you who it lost to, and you tell me whether you agree or not.
Okay.
Other nominees in the category were Liar, Liar, and Men in Black, and those
Fair.
didn't win, but it
Fair.
lost to Titanic, which I don't know. Maybe this could
Hold
be
on.
Titanic.
Wait a minute. The kids voted for Titanic?
Hey, there's boobs in this movie, man.
The
Of course
kids voted for Titanic?
Yeah, they paint me like one of your French girls, Jack.
Were they horny teenage girls
Yeah.
that just wanted to see Leo?
That's what it was, and
what
the
it was.
boys that wanted to see Kate Winslet. And then it was also nominated for another Kids' Choice Award, favorite movie actress Uma Thurman, and she lost to Alicia Silverstone
Jesus
for this.
Christ.
And it also won another award in 2006 for the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films for Best DVD Collection. It was the Batman
Best
quadrilogy.
TV. Did it have great special features? Like, what's going Man, those deleted scenes.
It was for Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever.
Release the Schumacher cut.
I wish you could see his face right now, everybody that's listening. He's shaking his head in shame.
No, because I'm glad because it leads right into our first topic.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the legacy of this movie. Now, as annoyed as I am at all of these awards that may or may not exist, or they clearly, what do you think Uma Thurman did with her Blockbuster Award? Do you think it still exists in the world, or is it in a landfill right now?
So you got to wonder, like, those types of awards, like, obviously they want to win Oscars and Golden Globes and all
Sure.
these other prestigious things, but, you know, they always show them, like, they're, like, accepting this thing with, like, great,
Yeah.
you know, congratulations.
9
It's
times
like
out
a
of 10,
thing.
they're not even there. They're like at their home
It's
via
a video.
satellite. Yeah.
I'm thank you for. It's like me
Yeah.
on Zoom right now. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for giving me this award for best favorite podcast. In a,
I do this because the fans, and thank you so much.
it's a PR thing. They got to
Yeah.
do it. That's what it is.
But do you
And
think they just throw that right in the trash?
probably, or they have it in some box somewhere or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you did nail it though. Let's talk a little bit about the legacy of the movie, because I have some thoughts on it, and
Yeah.
I know that, you know, we've always talked about not doing this movie because it's one on all kind of podcasts, movie podcasts. This movie's been done to death. You know, we could sit here and make fun of it the whole time. We're probably going to have some fun with it, but we're not going to sit here and just tell you it's the worst movie ever. But I'm just going to flat out say it's not a good movie. And I think everybody who's watched this knows. I bet there's a critical, like, or there's some type of cult following for this. But just in general, like, I don't know, this movie has a very checkered past, if I could say
Sure.
that, right? Like, what do you
So-
think the history of this is?
So, as annoyed as I was saying, with all those awards, I will say, having not watched this movie since like the 90s, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this movie, you know, in this century until
that day in that theater.
until now for this episode. I was entertained, man. I was not bored at all. I was thoroughly enjoying myself. Obviously, it's a bad movie. No, there's no getting around it. But it was entertaining as hell until the end.
Now, but help me understand what the entertainment was. Was it entertainment? Like, it was so bad that it was good?
It's one of those
or-
bad, it's good, and a lot of it has to do with Arnold as well. Arnold
Yeah.
just completely underrated, knocking it out of the park as Mr. Freeze. It's not his fault that all the characters around him were written
Yeah.
like goof. I don't even know.
Yeah, they were awful.
Written like assholes is what am I going to say? The more frustrated I am with the movie, the more I curse. I think you might notice as we go on in all these episodes. So apologies, but no, it was very campy. I enjoy the Schumacher world. I enjoyed Schumacher's Gotham, and I enjoyed it in Forever, and I enjoy it in this one. Batman and Robin were nothings in this movie. Batgirl was irrelevant. Alfred had a bigger role in it, but he kind of sucks as an
It was
actor
a
too,
worse
doesn't he?
role.
He's not very good, is he?
Awful. It's
But,
terrible.
yeah. But like, aside from all that, like the flow of the movie and the campiness, like I was into it. I was
So-
actually into it.
This movie reminds me of a live action. I mean, they even joke about it, right? They said Schumacher was on like a crane saying this out of the bullhorn, like during the thing, like this is a live action cartoon. Like, you know, the legacy and the
Yeah.
history of this thing is that they said that Warner wanted to sell more toys, and you could
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
It reminds me, but I mean, look, if you go back before the Burton movies in '89, right? You go back, Batman was kind of a joke before. If you look at the comics, like before the Dark Knight, you know, the movies or the Frank Miller comics, before that, he was kind of campy, and that was it. Like you had that 1960s Batman show, right? The one that everybody knows
Sure.
with
Who
Adam
Pal?
West and
Thwap.
you know,
Yeah.
Burt Ward and all these other people. It was sort of campy, and that was the style of it. this movie was the closest to that I think you'll get from anything besides that TV show. It was very campy, and it didn't hide that, you know.
But it's also 90s. It's like it's
was
very 90s.
But if you look at this versus Batman Forever took it to a, you look at Batman Returns was very, very dark, and they said it was too dark. So the studio tried to turn it around, and they made Batman Forever, which still had some dark elements to it. And you joked earlier, release the Schumacher cut. That's what people are trying to do right now.
Sure.
And they want this thing because apparently there's some cut that dives into Batman's psyche.
Yeah.
But
there's also some seriousness to Batman Forever as well. It takes itself seriously as a movie.
This one doesn't.
This one does not at all. Yeah.
But can you enjoy it? And I said this, I think maybe on some other episodes that we've had, maybe even said it on the Batman Forever episode. I forgot because it's been a while. Do you think this movie is better because the others exist? Like put yourself in 1997.
So
right?
you're
You
talking
go back,
about the Nolan movies.
yes, or the other ones, right? Like you go back, most notably the Nolan movies. Like put yourself in a young Badway's shoes in 1997. You're in the theater. You're hyped to watch this. You can't wait to see the new Batman movie. Does it let you down because you were anticipating this movie to come out? You thought it was going to be the next awesome thing, and it kind of sucked. And you're like there's nothing else to watch besides the ones you already saw. Like, is it better because of that?
Yeah, I think it's better in retrospect for sure. Just because it's its own thing, it's unique, something different. I think it stood out in '97 as a worse movie, especially considering that it was 13 years old at the time. It was pretty much right up our alleys, right?
Right.
12, 13, whatever it was. And if you know as a kid you're watching a subpar movie that's aimed towards you, then that's a problem. Obviously,
so did you know it sucked when you watched it then?
Yeah. I did not hold it in as high regard as I did Forever. Like as I mentioned in Forever, I saw that movie 3 times in the theater.
Yeah.
Let alone wore out the videotape.
Yeah.
This one, no. Saw it in the theater and I was done with it. I probably rented it just to make sure it sucked and confirmed. And that was probably the last time I saw it until, this weekend.
Did you have any of the merchandise or any of the toys or any of the stuff from this at all? Because
No.
they did a big campaign with it.
No. I had Forever toys. They didn't get me. They didn't get
I
me.
had
They did
that
free stuff.
crappy Batmobile with the there's not even like a small windshield. There's nothing. It's like him driving. We joked about it in the Forever episode with him just completely in a cockpit. Like, wouldn't his cheeks be flapping from the wind with how fast that thing goes? Like, it had nothing. Like, the vehicles in this were garbage. It was just to make toys. And I said I wasn't going to bash the movie. I'm going to try not to, but I did fall for the merch. I had some of the toys. I had some of that. I had the Batmobile.
Well,
I had a couple other things. I'm a Batman fan. So
You're a Batman stan, so what are you going to do?
I am, right? So what about Joel Schumacher, right? He gets a lot of crap for this. In fact, there's this famous video of him apologizing for this on the DVD. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. I'll try to link it in the show notes. It's like a 30-minute interview where he basically apologizes for this. George Clooney famously apologizes. He offers people, refunds for, like, to this day for people that have seen this. Do you blame Schumacher? Do you blame any of the actors? We'll talk about maybe the actors' performances later, but what do you think?
No, Schumacher's probably embarrassed by it, right? Because he was probably hamstrung in what he was probably given a directive, and it's like the equivalent of selling out. Like,
it's like a hired gun.
He could have just said no to the movie, but he chose to do it. I'm not sure if he was contractually obligated to do 2 movies after he did Forever, if he was contractually obligated or not to do Batman and Robin, but I'm sure he's not proud of it, and he clearly wasn't.
Do you think it was his fault? You don't?
No, not at all. No, this was all about the writers and producers trying to make a movie out of a toy line for sure. And Clooney, Clooney apologizes for it, but again, like, that's his own doing, man. That was a cash grab. He chose to be Batman.
Yeah,
he could have said no. He was trying to boost his career, and I don't blame him for that either. But I mean, he knows what he did.
Yeah,
he knows what he did.
He's guilty of sin.
Yeah, well, and he did, for as little as they gave him, he didn't give that much.
No,
himself.
He didn't. And there's other stories too, and we can get into it in the Clooney section, but I'm pretty sure that he was simultaneously filming ER at this same exact time, and he couldn't. There was like all kinds of reports about how they couldn't film certain days. So this production, like Chris O'Donnell's famously said it, where he said, felt like I was filming a movie when he's talking about Batman Forever. With this, felt like he was filming like a kid's toy commercial. Like the sets were crazy. Just the production itself was like, I don't know. They had toy people there and all this stuff. So I don't know. This movie just, I don't know. They went too far on that. let's talk a little bit about some of the people. And I'm just going to ask you, let's start with Clooney. And the first thing I think maybe we can go through these, and since this movie isn't that great, let's not make it about the movie. Let's make it about the actors and their performances.
All right.
Let's rate them objectively on a scale of 1 to 10. So we'll go as we go through some of the actors. We're going to do everybody that we can here. Let's talk about Clooney as Batman. We did a deep dive, I think, on the Forever episode and probably some of the other ones about what's your ranking of Batman and Batman actors or Batman actors through the years. Clooney, did he change your opinion of this at all watching this movie?
We all know he's last, but like I'm probably gonna give him like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, are we talking like Clooney himself, or Clooney as an action star, or Clooney as a Bruce Wayne?
Whatever you think overall.
Overall, I'm gonna give him a 3 because I wouldn't. He could have been worse.
He could have been worse, but he didn't.
He did
help
the bare
himself.
minimum Clooney job that he could do.
I got to tell you, like we talked about, when we did the Batman rankings of Batman and Bruce Wayne rankings, like his Bruce Wayne is just pitiful to me. It was awful. He just was not convincing me. It was George Clooney in a turtleneck the whole time. It just, and how many turtlenecks did he wear? That was like exclusively what he wore the whole movie.
He's neck shy, man. I don't know what else to say. He's neck shy.
He's got his neck's too skinny. He didn't work it out hard enough.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like to show his neck off. I get it, man.
He had this weird romance with like Elle McPherson, who's like another. Just it's 1997. Like, put me in the time machine. Like I don't know. I just thought Clooney. I'm gonna give him a 2 out of 10 in this. I just thought he seemed like he phoned it in. He seemed like he didn't care.
Yeah,
he seemed like he just was not good at all.
I feel like his agent presented him with, "Hey, you want to be Batman?
Yeah,
yeah, I do. How much money am I making? Yeah, let's do it." And then he gets on set, probably thumbed through the script. And then he gets on set and he realizes what's going on. And he goes, "Oh, shit.
I got to do this.
All right, well, movie. They're paying me, so,
Dude, Michael Keaton looks like a genius for, quitting after the second one. He really does.
Yeah, man. And, Clooney suffers from the same fate, to me, as Ben Affleck does, to where it's like, it's George Clooney. Like, he can't hide from being George Clooney.
So did you watch ER at the time? Did you know him?
No. I knew who he was, but I didn't really watch ER. I thought Bale and Keaton did a good job of separating themselves from themselves. Like I forgot Bale was Bale and I forgot Keaton was Keaton when they're playing Batman and Bruce Wayne. But yeah, George Clooney didn't even attempt. At least Bill Kilmer tried.
He kind of did. He went dark.
Kilmer just did not, or Clooney just did not care.
He didn't care. He just seemed like he was phoning it in the whole time, in my opinion. Like, he just was not
He was delivering lines with, this look on his face that, it looks like he doesn't want to be there. Especially as Bruce Wayne.
His Bruce Wayne is just one of the worst. He just didn't look like Bruce Wayne. You're right in that he's George Clooney to me. And I didn't know who the hell George Clooney was back in 1997. I mean, I knew he was on ER, but I didn't watch that show, so I didn't really know. Yeah. But it's even worse now because he's George Clooney. Uh-huh. It's just very, very bizarre.
I knew he was a heartthrob and an ER, it was a thing, but it was definitely not in my demographic.
Yeah. So, yeah. What'd you think about the way that they did the whole relationship with him and Robin? So there was a couple of ways that they went about this. Part of it was this weird love triangle that they created with him and Poison Ivy and Robin, which we'll get to in a second. But just in general, it seemed like they were trying to play up this relationship of, I don't know, this mentor is being hard on the mentee and the mentee's just had it. Robin's kind of a jerk now and he doesn't want to deal with Batman. What do you think of that?
It's been played to death, this whole, I'm not just talking about Batman and Robin, just the dynamic of the understudy, the mentor. And there's certainly some fatherly, aspects to it as well. I don't know, I didn't see it. They both weren't trying very hard at it. And I just didn't care, man. This was last on my list of what I was enjoying the movie for. I was just waiting for Arnold and Poison Ivy scenes to show up because honestly, we joke about it. They named the movie Batman and Robin, but this movie is barely about either one of them.
It's very, very good point.
I guess Batman saw it as a mentor-mentee or a father-son relationship to where there's clearly a hierarchy.
Yeah.
And Robin saw it more as a partnership. And Batman doesn't play well with others, even when he begrudgingly accepts Robin, like in all iterations. He sees him as a little kid.
What do you think? Like, even the age gap is such a weird thing because we joked about it in the Forever episode, and not to keep doing callbacks, but Robin's like what 20 something in this, like at least.
Yeah.
How is he like his father? Like, get the hell out of here. He's his roommate at this point, in my opinion. Like, he's his roommate. He owns the house.
Still a charity case to me, man.
He's his landlord.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's landlord. I mean, there's some violations too, because there's a couple scenes in this movie where Batman's trying to like teach him a lesson. And one that specifically stands out to me that I want to ask you, what's more dangerous? Because there's a scene where in the movie, Batman is chasing Mr. Freeze and Robin's on a motorcycle and Batman's in his one-seater piece of crap Batmobile that he could barely even fit in. And they're going off some Atlas statue and they're going to make some jump. And let me tell you something. A motorcycle is infinitely equipped to make this jump. And that piece of crap boat that he's driving is not going to make that jump. And Batman is out there yelling, "No, you're not going to make this jump. You're not going to make this jump." So he turns off his motorcycle as he's driving on the edge of this thing.
Can I say ultimate violation?
Yeah, give me your thoughts.
Total violation. Yeah, first of all, you're absolutely right. The bike has a better chance of making that jump than A, the stupid Batmobile, and B, whatever the hell Mr. Freeze is driving.
He's like in an armored car.
Yeah, it looks like a Beetle. I don't know what the hell it is. Like not like a Volkswagen Beetle, like the bug,
like a literal
the insect. That thing made it no problem.
Like a scarab.
Yeah. The bike might have. Maybe Batman was worried he was going to jump over the building.
Yeah,
overshoot it. I don't know.
You're going too fast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the equivalent of like being a driver's ed and like the passenger, the guy in the passenger seat, the instructor has the brake.
Didn't that happen to you before?
He hits you with the brake, man. Oh, of course. Oh yeah, my driver's ed teacher, man, he would hit me with the brake all the time. I'm surprised I have my license.
How does that work? So tell me about this, because when you're going out with the teacher, like, what, I didn't have that. I never had driver's ed. Like they didn't take us that. We drove in those crappy simulators. Did you do the simulators?
Worked. Yeah, they never worked. I always like you hit the dog and like you don't see the dog coming, and the brake doesn't register right. You can hit it right, but the game will tell you what's wrong, and it makes you look bad.
But the thing that with the people that are listening, I don't know if anyone had a driver's ed simulator in their high school, but you hear about this and you think, oh, cool, I'm going to be playing like Cruising USA, and I'm gonna be playing like Daytona 500. No, you were not. It was like a video, and it was a video like on a projector screen, at least in our high school, right?
Neighborhood town.
And you had two pedals and a steering wheel, and it had no type of feedback at all. You just had to time it right, and you didn't know whether you were actually hitting the brake at the right time. You didn't know if you were turning at the right time because this video was on a track. It was the equivalent of like one of those like amusement park rides that goes and does whatever depending on what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing.
Imagine playing Guitar Hero or Rock Band if you guys at home have played that game. So when you hit the wrong note on the guitar, you'll hear a clink and a clunk to know that you screwed up.
Yeah.
But imagine not having that.
There's nothing.
You wouldn't know if you were doing well or not. You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't even see if you missed a note.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
And then you get like a printout. It's like a paper of what you did.
Yeah.
Did you use those? I did, but did you have that in your class?
They never worked right, and I dismissed them as bullshit because I stopped. It's not my fault if the game doesn't register it or the simulation.
The projector.
Yeah, I did not hit that dog. I swear.
But you went out. I know we're going on a crazy tangent here, but you went out on the driver's ed simulator in the real life, though.
In the real life, yeah. Went out with the car.
Did he have a steering wheel too?
No, the right side did have a steering wheel, but he did have a brake. So the car's with the brake in the passenger seat. So the driving instructor can brake for you if you're going too fast for his liking, which is subjective to me. And I'm a punk kid that I don't even have my license, So like, I think I'm a good driver. Obviously, at the time, he was hitting me up, man. He was hitting me up with that thing, and there's nothing more frustrating, man. There's nothing more frustrating. It's like, don't be a backseat driver. He's literally being a backseat driver.
But like, imagine if Like, what if he's braking hard and you hit the wheel hard and you like, flip the car?
Yeah, you know, seems a bit unsafe.
It's like Batman trying to break the motorcycle for him.
But the same like theories apply to like, you ever have a passenger, you're driving along, and maybe it's your mom. It's my mom for sure. My mom, I know she's listening. Where I would be driving and she'd be in the passenger seat and she would like phantom like hit the brake.
Hit the floor.
Like I'm not going to stop and I'm just going to rear end into the car in front of me that's at the stop sign. You know? Like I'm going to stop.
It's a bodily reaction.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done that before, not to you, but I've done it like in cars where people are driving recklessly. It's like my foot is like touching the floor.
Yeah. Like, trust me, I'm not going to smash into the back of the car that's at the stop sign.
So the thing about the driver's piece though is like our driver's ed teacher was the football coach. Which makes it even better because it's like you got this tough guy like braking on you and you're trying to drive.
Total hard ass too, and I was not a football player. And
did you deserve it though? Were you speeding?
Probably, yeah. So like, yeah, he would be yelling at me and he'd be slamming the brake on me, and I would say, "Okay, coach," like in a very passive aggressive, dismissive way. And to call him coach when you're not a part of the football team, I totally meant it as derogatory.
Is that so? Was he taking it as derogatory?
I'm pretty sure he caught what I was putting out there. Yeah, for sure. I passed, by the way, but
you did.
Yeah, so he couldn't deny my talent.
I remember him teaching us how to walk to our car with a key in your hand, like Wolverine. Like, you know, like a claw. Yeah. Because he's like, you got to walk to your car and you never know who's going to be on the other side.
That's what you took from the class.
What he said.
Is self-defense.
Yeah. He was like, when you're walking to your car and you're unlocking it, you better have your key in your hand, like, just in case somebody comes at you. It's like, like, what does that have anything to do with driving a car?
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was trying to protect us,
No,
it came from a good place.
It's a good tip, though, honestly.
It was a good tip. It came from a good place, but it is funny. But anyway, back to Batman and Robin.
What were we doing? Yeah.
He breaks. It's like a driver's ed class.
He hits the proverbial brake.
He hits the brake, and he's like in danger of skidding off of this entire statue. Now, what's more dangerous, letting him make the jump under his own volition and his own control, or braking for him when he's not expecting it?
Let me tell you, of course, it's more dangerous to hit the brake on him because he's not expecting it. It's total shock. He didn't know that Batman had that function built in. Yeah. It's a total lack of trust, which he calls him out for later, which I get it, even though I didn't care. I got it. And second of all, the flying Graysons have more flying and jumping experience off of buildings, acrobatics, than Batman ever has. He's been doing this for 20 years. The Graysons, the flying Graysons.
Yeah, they were probably tossing him as a newborn.
As soon as he was walking, he was flying.
If that, maybe his mom was like tossing him, to his dad.
Yeah, you ever notice that some parents, they toss their kid way in the air and sometimes it seems a little too high?
It's too high?
That was the Graysons.
They did.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Chris O'Donnell's performance, right? So
he was terrible.
You said he wasn't really Robin, he was just Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Like, was he good or bad? Like, why do you say he's terrible?
He wasn't, like, he's not a good actor overall. Like,
no, he's not
plus
great.
His heart, he tries. At least he tried. George Clooney did try.
I liked him in Batman Forever. I thought he was pretty good in that.
Yeah, he was okay. He was okay, and maybe the material makes him look worse in this than Batman Forever. But I was not impressed. I mean, I'll give him a 4 because he was trying. I'm going to give him a higher score than Clooney, even though Clooney's a better actor.
Yeah,
O'Donnell tried hard.
Chris O'Donnell tried. Clooney was collecting his paycheck. What about Alicia Silverstone? So we're not going to have to go into all the details of her. We can talk about it in a second here. But what about her? What'd you think?
Well, first of all, I don't think Alicia Silverstone is a great actress either. Like, I'm not trying to bash everybody here. I'm sorry. She was good in Clueless. She was great in Clueless. Did you ever see the movie The Crush?
Yeah,
I think it might have been her first or second movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, where she I think it was her teacher. Yeah, where she's like psycho.
That's a good movie.
She was pretty good in that. But I feel like that's an easy movie to act in. That's besides the point.
Act like a psycho.
Yeah. I thought this character was very, I don't know, unnecessary.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, right?
I was just going to say that. It's what you said in the beginning. Yeah. Why the hell not?
My question is when she shows up at the doorstep of Bruce Wayne's looking for her uncle Alfred, Chris O'Donnell shows up. He's like, hey, there's a babe at the front door. Whoa, maybe she'll date me. Yeah, like that's something he would say, his character would say. Let's say that what I would want is where where Bruce and Chris O'Donnell, Dick Grayson are fighting over the affection of Alfred's niece.
So you don't want the Poison Ivy love triangle. You want the
No,
Batgirl love triangle.
I don't want the Poison Ivy triangle, and I don't want Elle McPherson being, Bruce's
useless.
The quote unquote love interest, because he doesn't love her. He doesn't.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
She proposed to him.
She proposed
that's
to
how much
him,
he loved her.
and
then she said, "Think about it."
He could care less. I know he had some of the Ivy pheromones in his brains at the time, but honestly, he's not marrying Elle McPherson.
Why don't you think about it, Bruce? Let me know what your answer is.
When all this is over and Poison Ivy's out of the picture, he's not marrying her. It's not happening. But I want to see that movie. I want to see that subplot where those two guys are fighting over her, and the added tension of it being a relative of Alfred.
Yeah,
and it's like weird. And Alfred's like, "Hold on now, you can't be doing this. You're Batman. Don't get my niece in danger."
Or his daughter,
or
which
his
we'll get
daughter.
to in a second.
We'll get to that in a second.
It's love child.
What do you think?
I think it would be interesting. It's probably controversial because they can't have Batman dating Batgirl as the daughter of the niece of Alfred.
Yeah,
but because there's I don't know if you saw this, but in the Killing Joke, the animated movie, there's this weird subplot where he actually hooks up with Batgirl, and it's really weird, and people are really upset about it. Which they're like, this is kind of like assault because he took advantage of her. It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, he kind of did.
In that movie, it made no sense. That movie just didn't need that. It was weird.
What else? Remember what did Zack Snyder do recently about? Was it Catwoman?
Oh no, there was a whole thing about there was. Are you talking about with the subplot of what was going to be about him, Batman having a baby with Lois Lane or something? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm talking about the picture that he drew. I'm just going to try to see how you would describe that to our PG-13 audience.
Yeah. The PG-13 picture of that is Batman is a generous lover is what I'll say.
Okay,
apparently,
right. Well,
there's a whole controversy about that.
I'll let you off the hook.
Yeah.
But back to that. Yeah.
What do you give? No, I think that would be an interesting. It would definitely have been an interesting way to go, and I'm surprised maybe in '97 they didn't because it was George Clooney but they were probably trying to play up the fact that they're not probably 5 years apart in age and that they were much older. That's probably why they didn't go that way.
Well, that's the thing. Well, first of all, I guess you can't do it because in this movie, they are playing up the Alfred as a father figure to Bruce. So if Bruce is also going after a relative of Alfred's, there's an incestuous angle that's implied
it's kind of
that we don't need right now.
Warner's not about that, man. They're trying to sell toys here.
Yeah.
Even though I'll say this movie gets a bit sexual later.
Yeah, but
it does.
It's true. It does, and that's a lot of Poison Ivy's fault.
Yeah.
But I guess if we're gonna have this subplot of the two of them trying to fight for the affections of Alicia Silverstone, then maybe we don't have the subplot where Alfred's dying.
You don't, which is a perfect segue because I don't know if you've ever heard about this terrible illness. There's this just terrible illness that's just stricken so many people.
Really?
It's called MacGregor syndrome. Have you ever heard of MacGregor syndrome?
Man.
So
yeah, it's a killer.
It's a disease where your lungs fill up with fluid and it makes it hard to breathe. And there's 4 stages of infection, and each stage is more and more incurable. What kind of sounds like pneumonia or something to me. But
what stage does Alfred have?
Alfred had stage 1 of MacGregor's.
Oh man!
And I believe that Mr. Freeze's wife had stage 4 of MacGregor's. But does this not sound like the fakest illness of all time? MacGregor syndrome.
MacGregor sounds like too happy of a name.
Yeah.
Does that sound? Is that? I don't know.
It's like Groats from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Groats. But Groats is a good name, right?
Because it sounds kind of gross.
Yeah, like McGregor's is too close to like McDonald's, maybe. I don't know. Maybe in my mind,
he ate too much fast food.
Yeah,
he had a heart disease.
Yeah, all that MSG, man. I'll tell you.
All the McDonald's. McGregor sounds like a freaking bar to me.
It's a bar, yeah. And then they start thinking of Conor McGregor, and it's like, come on, with the McGregors.
McGregor's. Like, it's just such a fake illness.
But, like, maybe it's like the first guy, whoever had it, his last name was McGregor, like, oh, it's Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah. It's like, but even, like, Lou Gehrig's disease, like, that has a good ring to it.
Yeah.
For as bad as the disease is. You know?
I mean, I hate to make fun of an old dying man, but
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta look
rare
this up.
disease.
This has to be fake, right? It's like, but you said it best. For how rare this is, you got two people in Gotham City, like two people in Gotham City got MacGregors, and it's like,
What are the chances?
I have a theory for this. I think he pretended to be sick so he could quit because he didn't want to. He didn't want to actually quit. So he was pretending he had MacGregor's so that he could quote die and that he could just get out of here because he was tired of George Clooney being Batman.
Yeah.
He was tired of this dynamic between this.
I love that theory. Love it.
I think he was tired and he was just like, you know what, get me the hell out of here. He couldn't honorably quit.
But
So get me out of here.
you know what, though? It's like, I hate to poke
MacGregor's.
holes in your theory, but he only coughed when Batman was away.
Yeah,
He
but,
hit it.
but it was like the weakest cough. He knows there's
But
cameras
maybe,
in that place.
he was like, he world's greatest detective, right?
Yeah, he knew.
He knew.
He's got to put that out.
He knew that Batman would figure it out.
Oh, I love how
On the
Clooney
slide.
was like, just out of nowhere, like he's like, "Oh, Alfred's dying," and then Chris O'Donnell's like, "You know?" He's like, "No, he didn't tell me, but I just know."
I know.
He knows, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he's recording his last will and testament on this CD and this crappy, weird looking all-in-one computer before the iMac existed.
He needs to separate his personal computer with his business computer. Drew.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I don't want to sit here and talk about MacGregor's for 2 hours. Like we got to talk about the villains,
do.
but there's a couple more things that I think we need to just hit on very quickly with this. Just the whole him being Alicia Silverstone's uncle, but is it his great uncle? Is it her great uncle? Is it? I honestly think that he's the father because how weird was that weird relationship between her mother, who apparently was in England, but she comes back and she has like a New Jersey accent. Like she doesn't even have like a British accent. She's apparently from England. Like she's over here. Come on now. And he had a little bit of a weird affection for his sister. It was a little too weird for me.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The picture, it was like love Pam.
But that was the sister though,
I think. Well,
or
I think
was it
so,
like
right?
his mistress?
It said
or like-
sister, but I don't think it was his real sister. I think maybe it was she called him uncle.
Yeah.
And the mom said it was his uncle, but not really.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I think it was maybe her father.
I see you. Yeah.
I'm not implying an
See,
incestuous
and
relationship.
But if we're having that plot, Drew, which I like,
yes.
we can reveal that, you know what, Alfred is her father.
Yes.
Then the love
She can date Bruce
triangle
Wayne.
between Bruce and,
there you go.
and Dick,
You dream.
we can get some real action here.
Yeah.
We can get some real fireworks and Alfred, being in a tough spot.
Yeah. That would have been an interesting angle, and I would have
Yeah.
infinitely liked that more than what we got here.
Yep. It's
I
a real
really-
wasted opportunity.
I really would, but I believe that Pam was Alfred's lover. It wasn't his sister, and it was a lover
I like it.
situation.
I'm
And I
going
think
with it.
I think Barbara was his actual daughter. He just didn't tell her. It was just too creepy of a weird situation there. What do you think of his computer tactics?
Can we talk about his cybersecurity, Drew? Because,
Does he have LastPass? Does he have Bitwarden?
So first of all, like I said, you got to separate your work and your personal computer stuff. He must make enough money. He can ask Bruce Wayne for whatever the hell he wants, and Bruce will buy it for him. Loves
He
him
turns
like a
himself
father.
into a damn AI.
Yeah, loves him like a father. Been cutting his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches 50 years, Drew.
Crest on or crest off?
Crust off. He'll buy him a spare computer to do his memoirs on. It's fine. He'll buy it for him. Probably has 50 stored somewhere in a closet.
Yeah.
Gets him for free. He's Bruce Wayne. When your work computer has all the Batman stuff on it, to where you unlock it, you don't even have to click in a folder. You want to hide something on your computer.
Yeah.
When no one's going to look for it anyway, you
Yeah.
hide it under a thing that says taxes or something. You put your porno under taxes. This is not how the Batman stuff works, Drew. You log in, you get that password right, Batman stuff starts flashing on the computer automatically.
It was ridiculous.
How many characters was his password?
It was 3.
It was 3 passwords.
Wasn't it just Pam?
It was
I
Peg.
think?
It was Peg.
Peg. Oh my God.
True or false? The word Peg, the name Peg, was written on a picture
Yes.
directly left of the computer.
So did he write Love Peg so he didn't forget the password? Like it was a tactical way for him to write the password without writing the password?
But that's like cybersecurity 101.
But like he hid it in the picture. He didn't put it on a sticky note that said password equals peg. He put Love Peg on the picture. So it was like sort of there, but it was hidden. Is it really genius?
If the Riddler broke into the Bruce Wayne's manor again, he did it once before, and he went to hack that computer, he'd figure out Peg was the password in about 7 seconds. 7
chess
seconds.
pawns, clucks, Enigma, Edward Nigma. Like, come on, Alfred, come on.
And that's just, I don't know, man. It's the disposable nature of these butlers, man. Let me tell you. I wanted to circle back quick about him dying because he is dying. You know, without the cure for MacGregor's stage 1. And about butlers, man. Like, I know that Bruce Wayne loves him, right?
It's his father, basically.
It's a father figure. I mean, he had a real father for I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah.
So he remembers him. That's why he's Batman, right? You got a butler, a live-in butler like that, old school, lives in your home for 50 years, wears the tuxedo, and then he dies, right? Tragically, he's dead. How long until he gets a new butler?
Oh, do you think he knows how to cook for himself?
Is he going to cut the crust off his sandwiches by himself? Is he going to do his own laundry?
He can't do anything by himself.
Is he going to fix the Batmobile?
Not George Clooney.
Not George Clooney. Not George Clooney's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So, like, am I wrong to equate a butler to, like, a family pet? To where it's like, you love him. You love the dog.
Yeah.
But when you lose one...
He needs a new one to get over the old one.
We need a new dog. How long until the billionaire gets a new butler?
Oh, a billionaire?
And
I mean,
you don't forget about your old butler. Alfred treated me like a son.
Never forget.
But you hire that new butler, don't you?
Oh, he's getting a new butler. The job's going up on Indeed.com the next day.
It's a thankless job. And that's why, so Batgirl has a line in the movie where she's like, oh man, it's no life to live, just waiting hand over foot over a billionaire like a servant. She's kind of right.
Well, Chris O'Donnell's right. like, but he likes it. He likes it. It's like,
does he really? Does he really? Have you asked him?
That's what I'm saying, man, about MacGregor's.
And
he doesn't really have it.
He'll say yes, but he also likes his job.
He does.
So,
but the question too is it cruel to make the butler wear the tuxedo? Like, could he just be more comfortable?
So if Alfred one day came down the steps in the morning, served Master Bruce his breakfast in bed,
in sweatpants,
as he has to do every day, and he's in sweatpants and the Slayer t-shirt, is Bruce gonna have a side piece with him a little bit later on, saying, "Hey, come here, Alfred. Look, you do a great job, but you can't be wearing that."
See, that's the thing. Like, here's the equivalent. I'm gonna equate this to you. I'm working from home right now for the most part.
Yeah.
When I work in the office, you got to dress up, sort of, for the most part. But when you're working from home, you're on Zoom calls. You can wear a nice shirt.
Yeah.
You think I got dress pants on?
You think I have pants on? You think I have pants on underneath there?
You think I got dress pants on here? You pants at all? No, but seriously, think about it. If he's not seeing anybody but Bruce Wayne, does he need to dress up? He's known Bruce all his life. Can't he just be comfortable? Get this man some sweatpants. He's not seeing clients.
Well, he's a classy guy, first of all, that Alfred. But
maybe he wants to wear them.
I feel like if he's wearing like band t-shirts, Bruce is going to have a sidebar with him.
Yeah.
Saying, listen, buddy, can't be having this.
I'm not paying you for this.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for this.
How much does he pay him? Like, imagine.
Isn't there a thing in Forever about him getting paid? Does he need money? I thought there was something about him going on vacation in one of them. And maybe I'm thinking back to like the cartoons and stuff. Like Alfred was going to go on vacation or something. I don't know. What does he do? Does the butler get time off?
Does he have friends?
He probably does. Maybe Bruce is his only friend. This incarnation of Alfred looks like he's the saddest man alive. He knows nobody.
Yeah.
He just lives in this house by himself.
I feel like no friends. Yeah, Michael Caine's Alfred has a life.
Yeah, Michael Caine's Alfred is awesome. This guy, I got to tell you, like, I know people are nostalgic about this guy, but if you ask for his performance in this, I'm just going 1 out of 10. Right, I think this guy, I don't like this guy.
Let me ask you straight up. Do you believe that he's sick? Like, no, I'm not saying he's faking it in the movie. Do you buy the actor's performance portraying a sick man?
Heck no.
I don't either.
He looked like a guy who was pretending to be sick, hence my theory about him wanting to quit. So he's either a genius actor and he played this like pretending to be sick because that was
Yeah.
really the intention.
Yeah.
Or he was so crappy of an actor that he just quit. Like he just, I just didn't see it. And when they had him laying in the bed, they took his glasses off and his hair was like messed up.
Yeah.
He just looked awful. He just
Yeah.
didn't do it for me. And
No.
Michael Caine is like put on a clinic for Alfred. He's the only Alfred that I'll ever see right now.
I don't
This
know.
guy is like iconic, but I don't like him.
I don't know. I kind of like him, even though that he's not super great.
He's too feeble.
But I like him in the role. I like my Alfred's feeble.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like my Alfred's weak.
You know, we talk a lot about Batman v Superman, all that, but Jeremy Irons, underrated Alfred.
Yeah,
He'll
he
kick
was
your
fine.
ass.
He was fine, but no.
I like that.
I don't need my Alfreds winning fistfights.
I like the Alfred being
And
like a military guy. I like that.
No.
I like it.
Agree to disagree.
Look, I know we're like 50, well, however the heck long, we're an hour in.
It's 4 a.m. It's
What the
okay.
hell is going on in this movie? Like, just help me understand it.
Oh, you want to actually talk about the plot in this movie now?
Well, maybe not the plot, but at least some of the people.
Why are we here? Why are we here?
What are
right?
we even talking about for this?
We're talking about Mr. Freeze and his plan. That's why the movie
Not
is here.
Groats and MacGregor's.
No. Poor MacGregor's. Well, it is MacGregor's because his wife's got MacGregor's. So yeah, the movie's about MacGregor's.
Dude,
Drew.
I
I'm
hope I
sorry, we
don't
can't
come
escape
down.
it. We can't
I
escape
hope I
it.
don't get MacGregor's. I don't know. I gotta get that 23 in me. Check my DNA. Tell me about Freeze.
All right, let's start with Freeze. As I said in the beginning, Arnold. If there's no Arnold performance in this movie, there is no movie. It's just a complete slog of nothing without Arnold. Right? Can we
He
agree on
really
that?
does make this movie. He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. To me, it was enough to hold my interest for about 90 of the 120 minutes of this movie. I was out in the last half hour. Didn't care how it ended. Couldn't care less. I
Because
wasn't
they
even
didn't
looking
really
at,
have much Arnold, honestly.
I was looking at my phone the last half hour of this movie, and it didn't matter. Didn't matter. Arnold, to me, gets a solid 8 out of 10 for taking nothing and making it something. What do you say?
I would agree 1,000,000%. Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody that listens to this show knows that I have a very, very soft spot for Arnold. He put on an Arnold clinic in this movie. If you wanted to watch a movie about how to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and how to act like him, he was there. And you said it before we recorded. He put on little Arnold touches to things. He did the laugh. He did the grunts. He did the Arnold touches. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And
Get them! Kill them! Ah!
you know, he had, I think, 20 plus ice puns in this. Now, I can't give him
yeah.
credit for all those. I got to give the writers some credit for this. But I'll also, like, maybe cut the writers down a bit. They didn't give him much help. Like, I don't know.
No.
He was working with bad material. And I feel like, listen, this is 97. Like, Arnold was, I don't know if this is like peak Arnold or he was sort of coming down at this
He
point.
was coming down. I think he was
but
coming down.
He still was a superstar. Like, he
Yeah.
was a superstar. He's the most famous person in this movie by far, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
He had
Like
the most career.
What Jim Carrey did to Forever is Arnold tried to bring to
Yeah.
to this one.
Now, could you say, is Arnold a good Mr. Freeze? Probably not. It's probably bad casting, but you know, I wouldn't pick him. If you asked me, should he be Mr. Freeze? No, I probably
No.
not. Like,
But
I
they
would have put him
needed-
as somebody else.
Needed star power. He
They
needed star
needed the
power.
personality, and he had it. And for what this movie was, he did a good job. I got to give him like an 8 out of 10 for actors.
So it's funny, like Freeze and Ivy, Uma Thurman, they played it straight out of a comic book, it seemed.
Yes.
And it was written that way, I guess, right? But the heroes were so bland that like it couldn't match it. So we have these two outrageous comic book villains battling against the most boring versions of Batman and Robin
It
you could
really
ever
was.
have. That's why this movie sucks.
You nailed it, man.
Right?
Like, Clooney's so boring. Oh my God, he's
Yeah.
so boring. It's you nailed it.
And it's a shame because Arnold could quite possibly have given an all-time comic book movie performance if surrounded by the proper writing and talent.
Yes.
It just so happens he's wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. I don't know that the character was right for him either, because it's just,
Probably not. But
I don't know.
He talk about like overachieving, you know?
yes.
It's hard for Arnold to overachieve because you have a certain expectation to what Arnold Schwarzenegger brings to your movie.
Right.
But with the material and just the production problems and the bad, I can't even speak right now.
is
the
4
bad
a.m.
vibes going through that production. He kind of shone through all of it, right?
Do you think he was annoyed by the whole thing? Like he always seems to me like a pretty positive guy for whatever
It could be a persona.
whatever it is. I don't know.
He has feelings too, man. I'm sure that he saw the writing on the wall, but he's also not going to give up.
He's a professional.
He's a professional. He's going to try. That's the thing you're going to get. You hire Arnold to do your movie. He's going to give it everything he has.
That's how I feel, what makes Clooney look so bad.
Yeah.
In that Clooney looks like he half-assed it, where you got Arnold really acting the hell out of it.
Yeah. Listen, and Uma Thurman's the same way, where it's like she tried, and she really like, all right, well, this is what I got to do. I'm going to do the movie. If Clooney entered this movie with the same type of enthusiasm and at least tried to be something, it could have made the movie from terrible to just, that just wasn't that good, was it?
Yeah. I don't know that Clooney had it in him, man. That's the thing. Like, I just don't know that he has that type of performance in him. Like you've never seen him. I can't recall any movie, not to make it about Clooney again, but I can't recall any movie that Clooney's been in where he's been like charismatic. You know what I mean? He usually plays like the serious kind of like Up in the Air, The Descendants, like all these movies. He's very like, I don't know, melancholy,
or like a smooth talking wise ass.
Yes,
like that's like he's a very one dimensional actor. It's true.
Just doesn't. I mean, he's a great actor.
He's good at that like one type of role. I mean, I think people unfairly put Denzel in that category too. I think Denzel's more range than Clooney.
Fair enough.
But they're kind of similar, right?
Yeah,
I would say
they're
so.
typecasted in a way.
Yeah.
And would you think Kilmer would have been better in this?
Yeah, I would have rather have seen Kilmer go for round 2. I know people don't love Kilmer, but he tries. He tried.
He did good in Batman Forever. Like he wasn't my favorite, but I thought he was pretty good. And I think to your point, with Mr. Freeze being so comic booky and Poison Ivy being so over the top campy, you're right. You nailed the polarization of maybe the heroes versus the villains in this. I mean, tell me about Freeze's plan. Like it's so over the top.
And it goes right into the plan. So Freeze's plan is to, and if I could break this down as ridiculously as possible, he's trying to freeze over, get enough money or get enough diamonds to power his contraption, his freeze contraption, to hold the world ransom for billions of dollars to aid in the research to cure his wife, who is currently cryogenically frozen, to cure her from stage 4 MacGregors. That's the plot of the movie. That's his plan. As we'll villain scale that later, and there are holes in it, but that's his plan.
Do you think she was just faking the MacGregor?
She
just wanted a divorce. She just wanted a divorce. She was faking the MacGregors.
Oh,
just
man.
like Alfred. I mean, what the hell was he thinking with this? Should he not have just like crowdfunded some research here? Like, think about this. And doesn't he need diamonds we're going to have to villain scale this, but doesn't he need diamonds to power his suit? So isn't there other ways to get money? Like, I don't understand what this was, and it's a tragic thing, but I don't know.
The thing I hate to point out, like, this is dumb and why did this happen in this movie? There's other podcasts that do that, and maybe they do it better than we do. We don't typically do this was dumb when this happened, this was dumb when that happened type thing. But one thing I could not get past, Drew, was in the first scene of the movie when Batman and Robin are fighting Freeze. The ice skating's going on. They're slap shotting the diamond. All that's going on. He escapes by blasting off a space shuttle into orbit.
This is Elon Musk over here.
He's Elon Musked it.
Jeff Bezos.
It's going to space, Drew. So I looked it up. You know how much it costs to put a rocket into space?
I have no idea.
$1.7 billion. If his plan is to get money for his MacGregor wife, then
MacGregor.
What's he doing spending the money on the space shuttle? Where'd he get the space shuttle? Did he blow all of his funds on that escape plan to get the diamond to then ask for more money? You know what I mean?
This guy's supposed to be a brilliant scientist too, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's a doctor. I guess
can't
they let
get
anyone
past
with a PhD.
that he spent $1 billion to build a space shuttle and successfully blast it off, only to then the plan is to ask for more money.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I don't like it.
I think we need
couldn't
to
get
write
past
him
it.
up. I think we need to write him up a GoFundMe, man.
Yeah.
I think we need to write him up a GoFundMe.
You know what, Drew? I will write him up a GoFundMe.
We gotta post it. We're gonna post it to
I
Instagram.
will write a
and the
GoFundMe
website.
up. Freeze and his lovely Ice Queen. And we'll post it. We will post it.
I think she's faking MacGregor's, man. I think she's faking it.
He seems unbearable to be around. All the puns all the time. I love puns.
Isn't it funny too? You think about like we joke about Arnold as a father, as a husband, and we said this in the Kindergarten Cop episode. We said it in the Jingle All the Way episode. Go way back in the time machine of thelastrow.podcast.com. Go check out those old episodes. The thing that I love is when they were showing videos of him like with his wife, and it was like in that black and white TV, and he was like lovingly hugging her, and it's like it's just Arnold's such a goof. Like he's such a goof, like hugging his wife.
She didn't seem into it.
And I have another random question for you, but how much? Well, two questions. How much did they pay that actress to just like float in the water and like pretend that she had MacGregor's and she was suspended? And how did they audition that? Like, was it somebody like had to see how long they could hold their breath like, without moving?
I looked this up. You're lucky. You're lucky.
You saw it?
Yeah, you're lucky. I'm your co-host because I look these things up because I know what you're going to ask. We might know these things. I anticipate your moves. Yeah. It's like I'm running the route, and where I'm just going to be there. You throw the ball, I'm just going to be there, right?
We went to Texas for throwing.
Yeah. So it's a model. The girl's a model, and she really doesn't have any other roles besides bit parts here and there, being herself.
Is she an underwater model?
So the way it works is, what do models do? They're good at weathering the elements, and just standing still and looking a certain way for X amount of time until the shot is gotten.
Yeah.
So really, it's the perfect role for a model.
That's true.
This sitting in the water thing.
That's
now,
true.
Are we sure that she is actually floating in the water, or is the water just the front part?
That's another good question.
It's kind of like a magician trick,
like a screen,
like a David Copperfield illusion.
Yeah. She's going to make the Statue of Liberty disappear next.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that I thought was interesting was the frozen ice sculpture too. Like, was she fake? Was it really her?
Yes.
What were you going to say? I cut you off there.
I was going to say, if it was fake water and it was just an illusion, that would require acting skills to act like you're in water.
Then you can't get a model. You
can't get a model for that.
Even though Uma Thurman made the jump, she became an actress.
Mm-hmm. You would need to be like a stage, like a stage performer. Could pull that off. No speaking lines needed, but no, she's just a model and she's good at standing still and looking a certain way until the shot is gotten.
Let's come back to Freeze when we go through the villain scale, but we talk about models making the transition to actress. Let's talk about Poison Ivy. What was actually before we do that? What was your rating for Arnold as an actor? I think I gave him 8 out of 10.
Oh, I gave him an 8. Yeah,
I think 8 out of 10.
Yeah, we were through that.
All right, so back to Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman's performance. Uma Thurman.
This is more complicated, Drew. I feel like you're going to be harsher on her than I am. I don't understand why she spoke like a 40s gangster or 30s gangster. But maybe that's just the comic booky campiness of it, I suppose.
You think she was given direction for that, or she decided like this is cool?
I don't think that was an artistic. I think that was given to her for sure. I'm going to give her a 6 because she really went for it, and she didn't do it as well as Arnold. But she's not as seasoned of an actor as Arnold was at this point in time either. And this is, probably I don't know. Aside from Pulp Fiction, which wasn't in much. It was a shorter role than people might remember. She wasn't in it for very long. She had a lot of screen time, and she had a lot of character to do here. And I think she did a pretty good job with it.
She wasn't bad, but I'll say this. I couldn't stand the gangster voice. Mm-hmm. It was like grating on me.
Yeah.
And the more the movie went on, the more I hated it. And the more I was just like, my blood was boiling by the end when she was talking, and I wanted to just mute it because I don't think she's a bad actress. I actually think she's pretty good. Yeah. And I think whoever gave her that direction, or if she took the artistic freedom to say, hey, here's how I want this character to talk, it was the 60s TV show, but it was like on steroids. It just was grating is the way to say it. It got me. And I didn't think she needed to be in this movie either. Like, I don't know. I get why they needed the two villains, but that was my issue with, like, I don't know. You try to juggle the screen time of certain villains, and I felt like they weren't the right combination of villains, in my opinion. and I
No,
just feel like
yeah.
it just didn't fit right. I don't know,
yeah.
just something about it.
I thought that I agree with you, and I thought that what would have happened in an alternate universe where Batman Forever would have had maybe Ivy and Riddler,
Yeah,
and then this movie had Freeze and Two-Face.
I
And,
think that would have worked.
The villain pairing may have been. I didn't have a problem with Two-Face and Riddler, but maybe Two-Face would have helped the Freeze character better, and Riddler would have helped the Ivy character better. And especially if you're gonna have Bane be the muscle
Yeah,
for Ivy, he would also be needed as the muscle for Riddler because both of them
weak.
can't fist fight, right?
yeah. I got some thoughts on Bane.
Which
I got
why don't
some
we
thoughts.
why don't we segue into Bane, because I know you have thoughts on Bane.
I got some thoughts on Bane.
Yeah.
So I just feel bad for my boy Bane here.
Yeah,
Because
poor Bane.
I just feel like if you're a fan of the comics and you're a fan of the character, you know how they did him dirty here. And this is just like one of the worst comic adaptations of any character I've ever seen in film history. It's so bad.
Oh man,
Like he's a nobody and he's just they just wasted him. Like they wasted him.
It's the brainless thug.
And honestly, I'll go and maybe hot take it too. I hate, in retrospect, I sort of don't like what they did with him in The Dark Knight Rises either, because they made him sort of the lackey, and he's like a criminal mastermind, and he's like a physical powerhouse. And this movie is just like, he's an Uber driver. He's a traveler. Like he carries luggage. Like what the hell is this guy?
Loved him in the trench coat. He had a great trench coat and hat look.
Either that's going to be the cover for this episode, or him as the driver. Like why is he always the loser of the movie? Is what I'll say.
So they're
doing him dirty.
I am not a comic reader, so I didn't know anything about Bane growing up. So this is really my first. This was my first introduction to Bane. And what happened to him when I was younger and when I watch this again now, I know you hate this, but like I was fine with Bane. Not knowing who he should be, I kind of liked it. Like he's dumb, but I'm into wrestling. He looked like a wrestler.
He literally was a
He had
wrestler.
a wrestler's
I'm pretty
body.
sure.
He's got a luchador mask on. I was like, oh man, this guy's a little steroided up, awesome dude.
It's blasphemy. All that.
And
like they made him into that.
No, and they made him be a fool, and he played it up as a fool. And me not knowing that he's actually a serious character, I took him as a fool, and as a fool, he did well for the role.
Man,
That's just me.
Bane, and maybe that's just me being a fanboy, but I love Bane. He's one of my favorite villains.
And you have the correct opinion as a fan of the lore.
But I'm not trying to be a holier than thou fan either.
No. But as you're describing it, they butchered it.
It's just it didn't need to be done, and it was stupid, and I just don't really get it. And I don't know. I just didn't. The whole Poison Ivy / Bane subplot. Like I get that Mr. Freeze maybe couldn't have carried the movie by himself because curing MacGregor's isn't really villainous. I guess he's going about it the wrong way. But the Uma Thurman want to cover the world in plants kind of thing. Like I think Poison Ivy could be good too, but just. I don't know, just use her wrong. Like, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It didn't work. And her portrayal, I think she played it the wrong way, personally. And I didn't like her. I don't know. Like, they played her as like a Lainey Boggs, and she turned into this thing. It just didn't work for me. But
yeah, Lainey Boggs is great. I love how when she was pushed into the venom and the acid and all that, and she basically died or whatever, should have been dead. And then when she rose, she's dead. She died. When she rose from the grave, so to speak, she came out hot and sexy. Whereas like she was glasses and trench coat and messed up hair. When she came out of the grave, her midriff was showing, short skirt.
She had makeup on.
Hair looked awesome. And she like sexed up the doctor into like the kiss of death. So and it's like she just came out sexy.
I gotta ask you, like, what was that doctor trying to do by trying to talk about weakest murder attempt of all time, right? There was some chemicals on a table and he pushed the table on top of her. Like, what's that going to do? It's going to injure her and maybe burn her chemically. Like, she's going to maybe be disfigured, but she's not going to die from that. Like, that was the weakest murder attempt of all time.
Oh, man. Nah, I think it's the most accurate thing in the movie, man. This is his first murder. He doesn't know how it's done.
It's just ridiculous.
He doesn't know how murder's done. He's a doctor. He's a geek. He's a geek doctor. He doesn't know how to murder people.
I have some questions about the pheromones here, but maybe I'll save it for the after dark after we end the episode here because I don't know. I want to know how the pheromones work. Like she's spraying these things around. Like what's going on with these guys that are like falling for her? Is it having physical effects? Is it?
Oh, you know it, baby.
Like
my question is the question that's nobody's asking is how does she have control over Bane when no one else like the doctor couldn't control Bane?
Yeah.
How does she control Bane?
I don't.
Is she
I don't
using the
understand
pheromones?
it. But I don't know that. I feel he seems like the type that's immune to it. Like Mr. Freeze is. He has a heart of ice. He says so. He's not. He loves his wife too much, so he's not going to cheat on that. But what's Bane doing?
Does Bane have like as part of the venom, like part of nature, and she controls that?
I don't know. Maybe he felt happy that she saved him from becoming something. I
think maybe she like didn't just blow a puff into his face. I think maybe she went a little further.
She
and that's
so they're puffing.
Yeah, and that's how it happened.
That's that.
That's
I
that.
think let's put him through the scale. We got the patented villain scale for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 4 categories: look and style, 1 to 5; hideout and layer, 1 to 5; plan for domination, 1 to 5; henchman, 1 to 5. Let's do Mr. Freeze and we'll do Poison Ivy separately. We got to see where they rank. So we'll start at the beginning. I'm just going to ask you, and I'm going to let you score this time. I'm not even going to debate this. You give me the scores because I trust your judgment on this.
Oh, wow. How about that? This is a lot of pressure.
Mr. Freeze, look and style, 1 to 5.
Well, his suit's a little bulky, but I do love the suit. You know what? The best touch of the suit is his pecs and bis and tris and quads are all like the bulbs.
They had that awesome blue glow.
The blue glow.
Yeah.
And it's funny. There's a production story where he's wearing this mouthpiece where his mouth glows.
I was wondering how they did that.
Yeah. So he's wearing this mouthpiece, but what happened is his saliva would get into the battery pack. And every so often, like the battery would start dissolving, and then like the battery acid would get in his mouth, and then he would complain about it, and then he'd be like, "Oh, this tastes like shit. What is this?"
Yeah,
that's a direct quote from Arnold.
Imagine him.
Yeah,
I'm sure of it.
And so, like, he probably knew that he was dealing with amateurs when working on this movie, but he still didn't stop him from doing his all.
They gave him a blue icy to blew up his teeth.
Yeah, but
especially at the end there.
But like his skin as well, pretty awesome. And the eyes, like I don't know how they did the effect. Was it a spray situation?
Like, he had the speckle.
I couldn't find it. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. But no, long story short, I'm going to give him a solid 4 out of 5. I
am not going to even debate that. I know I told you get the scores, but I'm not even debating that. I thought he looked awesome for having that costume. What about his accommodations, his hideout and his lair? Like he had a couple places it seemed.
Well, I'm gonna call his main hideout lair the Mr. Frosty ice cream place, which is the perfect place for a guy like him.
A perfect comic book villain.
My question is, why does he have a heating system installed?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
There was a leave. There was I don't know.
Does he lose a point for that?
Yeah, I think he should lose a point. Yeah, but I like it being an ice cream stand. I like that he has his henchmen and they're all freezing. They're not accustomed to this, even though they've probably been his henchmen for a while.
What the hell are his utility bills? Like if you could look, I don't even put my house below 76 here in the summer. I mean,
he must have a great HVAC guy.
What does it take?
A great guy.
What does it take to get your house to like below
top
30?
Top of the line HVAC.
What kind of system's he running there?
Yeah, man. I like his little secret. You get the TV dinner. Yeah, and you lift it up, and that's where his wife is stored behind the TV dinners. Book? Yeah.
I like that. That was a good touch.
But it is kind of bland, so I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh, I could go with that. I think it's good.
I've seen better. I've seen worse.
It was kind of warehousey. You didn't really have too much cool like designs and stuff. I don't know.
I think the wife in the tube gives it more points. It would have been a 2.
It's almost like design accessory there.
Yeah,
like. Kind of creepy. Yeah.
Would have given it a 2, but he gets an extra point because his wife is in the tube.
What about his plan? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but
see, this is why this is why the movie doesn't work, is because he's actually a good guy, and he's sympathetic, and you're so apathetic towards Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
And this guy, all he wants is to cure his wife. He's going about it the entirely wrong way.
Dan MacGregor's, man.
He it should be a GoFundMe. He has no idea how fundraising works.
Yeah.
Like, even before the GoFundMe exists, like, he's in the wrong era because he would have raised the money in 2 seconds if it was online. You'd be seeing it on Instagram everywhere. I would have donated $5, and that's just me. There's people that would donate thousands for this cause. You'd have the millions and billions in no time. But the fact that his plan is to help his MacGregored up wife, I'm for it, man. I'm for it. But he's going to lose points because his plan is to gain money, but he spent all that money on that rocket ship.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. It's not worth it. It's
stupid.
like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like betting $1 million on a sure thing in football for a money line. Like, if you bet $1 million to win like $100,
yeah,
it's like you're probably going to get your million back, but you're not going to gain much profit. So if he spends $1 billion on the rocket ship, which isn't even an integral part of the plan, and his plan ends up working, and he holds the world hostage, and he gets $1.5 billion back.
Was
the
it worth
500, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. So I
Kelly's
question
a wise man.
Yeah. So he's a very smart man, but I question his decision making. It's clouded. It's clouded by the MacGregor of it all.
Maybe he's got MacGregor.
Yeah, maybe he's got stage 1, and it's not diagnosed yet. So I'm gonna give him a 2 for plan.
All right. I think I had a theory when you were talking about that. Just I'll say it really quickly, but I was thinking about why did he break bad to begin with? Because he was curing his wife like a a nice man. He fell backwards weirdly into this open pool of I don't know what the hell it was, chemicals, right, to cure MacGregor's. Was he bad immediately? Did that turn him bad? Where my head was kind of going was he invented this suit to keep himself cold so he could walk around in the world, but it ran on diamonds. And it's the only thing that he is, so he's got to get some more diamonds. He used all the diamonds that he had in his house, and then he ran out of diamonds, so he's like, how are we going to get more diamonds? He's got to go steal them. Yeah. So he starts with like some petty theft and petty crime, and then he just goes down this giant, snowball, to become this big villain here. So maybe that's how he broke bad. Who knows?
You notice all those diamonds he stole. He didn't touch the diamonds around his wife's neck.
That's the thing, right?
He wouldn't use those diamonds.
Do fake diamonds work in this suit? I mean, if they were chemically the same, do they work?
I don't know, man. I feel like if you use CZs, that it would be glitchy.
It knows.
It would work sometimes. It would work sometimes. It's like if you filled your high performance car with unleaded. It's like it would go.
It's knocking.
It would go, but not as well.
The engine's knocking. Yeah. Man. Well, look, I'm just going to go on the record. This is going to be the longest episode of all time, just FYI. But you know what? We're in the groove. We just got to keep it going.
Drew, they either already know or they're not listening at this
If you
point.
turn it off, you can turn it off, but we still got to go through Poison Ivy. So we got to go henchman here before we get to Poison Ivy.
I'm going to go quickly. Henchman. His henchmen sucked. They know how to rollerblade.
Bad.
They know how to rollerblade on ice, but they're going to get a 1 because what did they name one thing that the one good thing they did was they slap shotted that diamond straight in his hand. That was clutch.
That was a pretty good move. They didn't. Yeah, these guys were awful.
Yeah,
they were like the Foot Clan basically, and
they made Two Faces guys look like superstars.
Exactly. What would it, before you move to Poison Ivy? What would it be like to try to rollerblade on ice? If you actually try to do that, would it be worse than walking on?
I think it's worse than walking. I think it's worse than running on ice. Is rollerblading on ice for sure?
Could you imagine that? All right, so recap for everybody. Mr. Freeze, his look and style, we gave him a 4. His hideout and his lair was a 3, which gives him up to a 7. Then his plan was a 2, which gives him a 9, and then he's going to hit a full 10 with the henchman being a 1. Not bad, but not terrible. That
was not planned 4, 3, 2, 1. Just how the cards played.
Not great, but let's go Poison Ivy. Let's go Poison Ivy here. Let's say that she's got her look and her style. What do you think for her?
I feel like for as much money was spent on this movie to be made, her costumes were a little too Broadway looking, for lack of a better term, right?
1000% agree.
Too stage performance-y and not summer blockbustery.
It could have been more like on her skin, like her skin could have been the leaves or something.
Do you remember the white Riddler suit at the end of Batman Forever?
Yeah.
That was a hot costume.
You could say that was kind of Broadway, I guess.
But it was bedazzled. It was all over the place. Like she never had anything that looked like that.
That's
true. And she could have had, she had all the makings. Like you could have done so many plant-based things with her. And especially, like you said, showing some skin. Yeah. Like it could have been something. And really, no, they just gave her.
They could have had like leaves over her chest. Like
they just gave her green leotards and called it a day.
Yeah.
No. So she gets a 1.
You
giving her a 1. Not
I'll
impressed.
go with that.
Not impressed.
And it just wasn't good.
The gorilla suit was sweet.
Yeah, but that was like the party supplied that. She didn't do that. She just stole it from somebody. I guess,
one's not.
Right?
Give her a 2. Erase it. Give her a 2.
You give her a 2. All right,
give her
for the
2.
gorilla
Not
suit.
fair. Yeah, among others.
How about when Bane was in his own costume inside of the gorilla costume? So that was give him a comedic element. But
that'll be part of the plan. So
what about her hideout in her lair?
So the one scene where she like stole the hideout from the neon thugs.
Did those guys have black lights pre-installed in there? Like what was going on with that?
Oh yeah, like that was a whole like. I really felt bad for them because they probably imagine like that was the day where they finally got the room finished.
They like hooked it up. Yeah,
it's like all like they're like very happy with what happened, and then they walk in and bust it all up. That's what I like to imagine. I don't know the lair. I hated that big Venus flytrap. That was like it looked like a bunch of pillows. I was not a fan of it. Yeah. I like the little pond.
It's like a sex dungeon, man.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
A sex dungeon. The graphics of the plants when they were being grown were Mortal Kombat Annihilation vibes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
MK Annihilation vibes. Yep. It's kind of the same year. I think roughly the same year. I'm gonna give it a 2. Just wasn't totally impressed. Could have been better. Had a lot of potential.
I like the pond aspect of it, and if you were gonna go 1, I was gonna raise you to a 2, even though I said I wouldn't meddle in this. Mm-hmm. But I like the little pond aspect where she's got the lily pad stuff. I kind of like that. She's got a pool in her place.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. But what about her plan? This is where I think she's gonna get a week from me if I was.
I don't know. Well, her plan is technically better than Freeze's.
It's simpler.
Yeah, her plan is to wipe out all humans on Earth and have her plants, her like new strain of Venus flytrap, I guess, for lack of a better word, inhabit the Earth and like start the Earth anew. With like an Adam and Eve situation where her and Freeze would be Adam and Eve.
Did she love Freeze? It was like a weird thing.
So, yeah, well, she pulled the plug on his wife, which was very cold-blooded.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if she was using him to get it done, and then she would just kill him.
Yeah.
Once everything was done.
There was weird love situation.
I get the feeling she didn't expect him to be around.
She needs no man.
No. She was gonna off him. I mean, it's a diabolical plan.
Yeah,
very diabolical.
It's pretty evil.
I don't think that she had the means to get it done.
Yeah,
even with Freeze, and I don't know if Freeze would have let her do it either. Even after like he was enraged with thinking Batman pulled the plug when it was actually her. So, I like the ambition, but I think she's in over her head. So I'm gonna stick her with another 2.
I think you're pretty much you nailed that one. She's in over her head, and I think she's a first time villain here. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's got bigger eyes than she can handle here.
She's like, oh, I want to take over the world, just like I would say, oh, I wish I had $1 million. It's like
this
one's not gonna
this
happen.
one's going to be interesting. Henchman, because it depends on how you want to count this. But
Bane's definitely a henchman.
Yeah, and it's her henchman, not really Mr. Freeze's.
And her plants are henchmen.
Yeah,
I don't think you can't call the pheromones she blows. Those aren't henchmen.
Not really.
I don't think they
guess.
are. If you can call a plant a living thing, which can be a henchman, but I don't think you can call dust a henchman.
Does she create that? Like, where does that come from?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we can
from her
not
loins,
talk about
Drew.
that. Yeah.
From her loins.
I don't know if we could talk about it without going down the X-rated path here, but
no. But I'm gonna give her points for having Bane because Bane, he's pretty unbeatable until you pull the plug on him, and like having plants do whatever you want. Having string up Batman, like that's always a clutch thing. So I'm actually going to give her 3. I'm going to give a 3 for Henchman. Yeah.
So you give her better than they're better than the hockey guys, I guess.
Yeah, definitely better than hockey. Bane is better than all of the hockey guys.
That's
combined.
true.
Even if you don't like that style of Bane,
that's true.
He's still better than them.
That is true. That I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So if I recap for everybody, her look and her style was a 2. Her hideout in her lair was a 2, so that takes you to a 4. Her plan was a 2, so you give her a 6. And then her henchman was a 3, so you give her a 9. So
Yeah.
I keep saying that we're going to do this, and I'm too lazy to do it. But
Yeah, me
I got to
too.
go back and score all the previous villains. You know, maybe for episode 100, we should do like a full-on villain thing.
Do
where
a
we have,
villain
like,
app?
a giant bracket.
Yeah.
We're still 16 episodes away from that, but maybe we could go all out with like episode 100 or something. We'll have a milestone. We
I
start
like that
planning
idea.
for it now. If
I like
people
that
want to hear
idea.
that, let us know.
Yeah.
But I definitely am curious. So if you go Mr. Freeze, he had a 10. Poison Ivy had a 9. I think that kind of sums it up pretty well. In my opinion, I think you scored them. You scored them pretty good here.
Well, thank you.
So, closing questions. Are you happy that you watched this again 20 plus years later?
I am. No, I seriously am, because like I hate like writing a movie off, you know, especially in a genre, or like, I don't know what you would call this, not just a genre, but like the Batman world.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, Batman and Robin, that movie sucks. It's ridiculed, and we're just gonna talk about how shitty it was, but never rewatch it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I at least turned it on again and confirmed that, yeah, it was that bad. But also, there's definitely some redeeming qualities of enjoyment to it, too. Now, having said that, I'm done with it. Like, I'm good. I don't need to
Yeah,
watch it ever
I'm
again.
good.
I'm good. And, like, the last half hour, like, I could care less about the climax. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Alicia Silverstone becoming Batgirl.
It doesn't
because
matter.
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I am glad I saw it, and I did get at least 80 to 90 minutes out of the 2 hours enjoyment out of it.
Bruce,
say
it's
you?
me, Barbara. I know, you idiot.
I know, you idiot. It's me, Barbara. Hello.
I couldn't say it better, so I'm just going to go with what you said. I mean, I
Wow.
agree. I'm glad I watched it, but I was very bored in the end. The first half of this movie had me sucked in. It was entertaining. Visually, it looked really good. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it, so I'm in. George Clooney's in it, so I'm out. I just did not like him at all. Like he cemented himself as the worst Batman of all time, in my opinion, by me watching this again. And I feel confident in saying it. But you know, overall, I was entertained, and it wasn't a bad time. It's a 2-hour movie, and it actually went pretty fast for being 2 hours of a quote bad movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I remembered, but it's still not good. And I think that's maybe put that one on the DVD cover.
Yeah.
You know,
Glowing, that's as glowing a review as this movie probably has gotten.
Yeah.
So take it.
I mean, really, right?
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think? Did you like the movie? Have you watched this recently? If you have, I'm very curious what you all think. Leave a comment on the episodes page or send us an email, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Let us know. Tweet at us at The Last Row Pod. Facebook. Leave a comment on the episode's posting. Instagram. Send us a note there. And if you're enjoying the show, if you enjoyed this episode, it's our longest one yet. Hopefully you don't get mad by more Last Row Podcast. But leave us a comment on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Podchaser. If you're enjoying the show, we really appreciate everyone that's left a comment so far. We'll be back with our next episode on Thursday, August 5th. And on that note, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. See you. So, the pheromones.
Yes.
If they overspray those things,
Yeah.
is it like those Viagra commercials where you're gonna have to be like, if you're experiencing something for 4 more hours, please go to the hospital? Like, were they all walking around feeling that way with these pheromones?
Yeah, like I feel like I don't know how long the lasting effects are, but I imagine if their faces look that way, then the
Other
pants
things did.
things were happening.
I mean, Commissioner Gordon looked like he was.
He's ready to risk it all, man.
He was ready to go. Let's go. I mean, I'm curious about how these work, and where did she get these things from? Did she invent them? Did they come out of thin air? You mentioned the Lloyds, but where was she getting these from?
I'm gonna be honest. I have a very specific thought that I even in closing, I'm not gonna say it.
I can fade it out here. This is where I can fade it out if we need to, but I need to know so you can tell me after I fade it out.
So what happens is that